For today, the topic is the significance of the election of 2008, and our guest is Dr. Baldwin from Vanderbilt University. And of course, Dr. Baldwin, let's continue our conversation and to raise this question in terms of race in America, dealing with the election of Mr. Obama. Do you believe that this does represent a post-racial kind of America, or what are some of your thoughts in reference to that?
Well, I think many will say that now that Obama is president, we shouldn't talk anymore about race. That issue has been solved. We shouldn't talk about affirmative action anymore because there's no need for it. I disagree. I don't think his election means that we live in a post-racial America. We know that during the campaign there were many racially charged incidents going on around the country. We know about the dragging death of Brandon McClendon down in Paris, Texas. Happened in September of this year, 10 years after James Byrd suffered the same fate in Jasper, Texas. We know that after the election there were evidence of racist graffiti appearing on the walls, the doors of dormitory rooms on college campuses. So we have to still deal with the problem of race, which is the original sin in America. I don't think the race problem has been solved. Obama's election simply means that another door has been opened. That we have taken another step toward what Dr. King called the promised land. It doesn't mean that we've reached the promised land in terms of race relations, because we still have a long way to go in terms of healing the racial divide in our country. And I also think that Obama would be the first to say that we will continue to need affirmative action to address the inequities in our society, inequities that affect women, that affect minority groups. He would realize that because he himself is a product of affirmative action. As you well know, during the campaign, he evoked the memory of Dr. King on several occasions. He used the rhetoric of the civil rights movement. Now is the time. The fierce urgency of now he talked a lot about. So I think he would say that that we still have a long way to go in terms of dealing with the racial divide in our country, and in terms of bringing about more equality between the races and between classes of people. So I think he would be the first to say that.
Yeah, when you talk about equality between the races, you're talking about the economics in a real sense.
On an economic level, yes.
Economic level.
Yes, because basic civil constitutional rights were pretty much achieved through the civil rights movement. Dr. King was killed, as you well know, when he was dealing with the issue of economic justice through the Poor People's Campaign, the sanitation strike, and that's where we are now. How do you bridge the chasms between the haves and the have-nots? And I think Obama realizes that, having worked as a community organizer early in his life, having been involved with bread and butter issues throughout his political career, I think he would bring that into the White House, a concern for uplifting and empowering and enabling people so they can take care of themselves.
As a matter of fact, one of the motives in terms of his entire campaign dealt with what? Uplift, economic uplift of all classes.
Yes, and empowerment.
Yeah, empowerment, and I think as Reverend Jesse Jackson is quoted to have said, is that the rising tide raises what? All boats.
Exactly,
and I'm not sure where that came from, but he is the first person that I heard say that. And I think that idea simply means that, and I think that in a real sense, that African Americans have a special kind of responsibility in terms of what this is all about. See? And I often tell people that while he might be an African American, but he was elected by the American people, and African Americans make up less than 15% of the population, and there's no way that he could have been elected without an overwhelming number of non-black, non-colored kinds of individuals. And so I think that in a real sense we owe that to them.
Yes.